Hey YouTube, I am on my way home. I'm leaving work now, headed to the car, so you guys can walk with me. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about being an entrepreneur and what that means. And the reason for this, if you hear that noise, it's my shoes. The reason for this is because I was meeting with two former students of my office, and we were discussing it and just kind of the myths behind it. So what people perceive as it to be, what the media tells it is, what Shark Tank talks about. It's lies. All lies, okay? And I don't think people understand how important it is to debunk a lot of the lies, I tell you, complete lies that are out there about the whole situation. So I want to kind of do that, hopefully. So I'm going to sit you guys, oh, just kidding. Where am I sitting you? I want to sit you here, but it's gonna, let me switch the camera and I'll be back. Okay guys, I think I kind of got it together. Never mind the lighting, because I'm in my car. Anyways, I kind of wanted to debunk some of the myths associated with owning your own business, being a CEO, whatever you want to call it. I was talking with two former students, like I said, and it's a little frustrating because in the corporate world, you're seen as like a threat, because one, you already know how to run a business, so you acquired a lot of knowledge. They're based on, I guess, the kind of traction, or I want to, in layman's terms, basically based on the kind of like progress or success you acquired. Sorry, my car is like shaking. That you kind of made with the company. Their kind of idea behind it is like, why would you want a real job? Why would you want a corporate job? You already have had all this success, and I'm opening this mint and it's making hella noise. So why would you want this job? Aside from that, you're self-employed. So why would you have no experience? The other side to that is have more experience than a lot of cases you may have. For instance, for Island Boom, I sourced, it was, like I said, a flower arrangement company. I sourced all the flowers, meaning I went to a list of about 10 wholesalers here in the Miami, Florida area. I went to their actual warehouses, found them on Google, went to their warehouses, kind of checked out their inventory, how quickly they could turn things over, the prices, how many flowers they offer, the accessibility, how easy was it for me to get to this place, how frequently were they open, how often did they have the flowers, their freshness, how long did they last. That's just for the product. Then I had to figure out the vases that I was going to use them in. So cost efficient, effectively, the Dollar Tree, they have vases. It's reliable. They have various sizes. The arrangements can fit in there no problem. Oh, the light really changes now. Yeah, so there's all of that. Then storage in my house. Where am I going to store them? How long am I going to store them for? Who's going to arrange them? Am I going to arrange them? Is my mom going to arrange them? When I get the flowers, they're basically, I would consider, in their raw form. Essentially, they have a huge stem. They may not be, as pretty. Maybe you need to pluck out a couple, fluff them out. Sometimes they have some of them have casings over them. They kind of help them stay intact because they're kind of delicate. Storage, how long are they going to last? Do I need to include food in every order? And that's just the product. That doesn't include the legality. So I set up an LLC, a limited liability corporation. Made it legal. I had to get a wholesaler's license. So that means that I would be able to actually buy the flowers from these wholesalers, or resale license, sorry. Doing that. Then they're setting up a website. So I had to find a website that I could learn myself, I could manage myself, Stripe, so I can accept payments, PayPal, integration of Stripe with the website. So basically saying, you have the website, here are the items that we have, these are the, if you pay for it, this is how, how much it's going to cost you, can you charge? Link it to a bank account. Now, a bank account, the business's bank account. So I had to create a new bank account just for the business alone. All the financials come in and out of that account. Updating the website, is it cost efficient? Can I manage it? Does it have the right branding, the colors, things like that? There's a lot of things that I had to do behind the scenes that I don't think people understand. So now the business is up and running. There are sales that need to happen. So there needs to be marketing. So you need to create all sorts of social media. You need to have a voice on social media. So you have to have certain presence associated with it. So are you going to be aggressive? Are you going to be friendly? Are you going to be mom and pop? Are you going to be trendy? What's your voice? Flowers, pictures, updates, what's going on, what kind of content, how are you building that content? Are you going to show behind the scenes, or are you just going to show the final product? Deciding all of those things, all that was again done by me. So people assume that when you become a business owner and that you run your own things, that it's essentially you have your name on it, it's on social media, and that's it. Now, I'm not a half-ass kind of girl, so I wanted things to be the best quality. I wanted things to be the best voice, the best images, things like that. You cannot post images on social media without having the copyright ownership of them. So that means you need to create all original content. Now, with all original content, it is extremely hard to find this all original content because, sorry, traffic is just dumb. Because, like, for instance, there's very few websites you can find high quality photos of, stock photos, whatever it may be, for your websites that you can use and not be, sued essentially for using someone else's work. Same thing goes for Instagram. So that means as soon as I got started, I had to look for those photos, which I was able to find. There's a place that has them, where you can get high resolution photos that you can use for your website. Now, your website, the landing page is huge, so you need to get like really, really large format like pictures, so that way it doesn't look super pixelated and ugly. And like those are little things that people don't think of. Like when you go on somebody's page and you notice like their picture is like super pixelated and ugly, it's because it's a picture that shouldn't be up there. The size is not right, and everybody knows that once you resize a picture to something smaller, there's nearly impossible to get it to be large again. So those little things people may not care about, but they see, oh my gosh, this is a great photo, up. Yeah, it took me forever. What the hell? Luckily with the resources, I have to buy my sunglasses, it's just too much. Luckily with the resources of my office, I was able to, come up with great product and have a lot of help, backing, financials. I had to pay attention to how much that doesn't even include how much I'm selling the product for. So once you figure out, you find out the cost of goods sold, so cost of whatever the product was, how much did it cost me to purchase this, including, things like, the actual flowers, the water, the vase, my time that it took to arrange the flowers, I was delivering all these flowers too. So delivery, things of that nature, I had to include all that stuff. That stuff wasn't just like on a piece of paper I could just copy and paste. Companies don't give that information out. You have to find that information. You have to do the math. You have to make those things happen. So right now I'm taking business and statistics for, math and business. No, math and statistics for business right now. It is nothing compared to what I would actually have done or did. Nothing. It's a lot more technical. I don't really know who you would use this for. Some people reference like certain like supply chain companies, but it's not for me. So it's very hard to find content or people who can help you with these resources. So that alone, I wouldn't say I was on my own, because I have my, where I'm at, they understand that world and was able to help me. But essentially there is no playbook. There is no owner's manual. There is no way of knowing these things without actually doing them. So you start to develop like a wealth of knowledge as you go, but it's not easy. It's not freaking fun. Every Saturday I had a delivery. Thank God. I thank God that I had people were interested in my content, people were interested in my flowers, who gave me great feedback. That's another thing too. Just because you buy a product, or you have a company or whatever, you're putting out your product and stuff like that, there's revisions. You're never, I wouldn't say you're never satisfied, but when arranging, you're dealing with things that are alive, things that, are ideally in people's head, they should last 2 weeks. So luckily my flowers at the time did last 2 weeks, but I needed feedback. Did you like the flowers? Did you think the arrangement was nice? Because initially it was my mom and I, and then it became just me. Did they arrive on time? What could I change? What could I do better? What could I offer? So you're always evolving. You're always trying to find the next thing, because your consumer is the one who pays everything. So you need to keep them happy. You need to make sure that they understand that you're either doing your best job, or there's things you could work on. You need that. Like, you want recurring customers, don't you? So, all of that goes into play. Now, let me tell you, people think the things that people don't talk about. One is money and time. They say, being an entrepreneur is a 24-hour job. That is not a lie. That is completely true. I had my 9 to 5, and I still had my job, and I would intersperse things and stuff like that, just so that way I could make these things happen. You're always thinking of ideas of what I could implement, who I need to talk to, who I need to follow up with, where do I need to visit, what I should think of, next, and what sales should I offer, how much percentage can I give off, should I increase the prices and then give a percentage off, things like that. I'm always trying to figure out what's my next move, what do I need to do, what am I missing, the feedback, okay, should I reach out to this person and get more in-depth information? So it's a whole plethora of stuff. Now, I don't say this to scare anybody. I don't say this to make it seem like entrepreneurship is the worst thing in the world, because it's not. But it takes a special type of person, and it also takes somebody who understands that you're not going to flip a switch. There's no such thing as flipping a switch in entrepreneurship. You're not just going to walk in and everything be laid out for you, and you just show up and you just clock in and you just do what you got to do and you clock out, and that's it. It doesn't work like that. When it comes to money, now, you may ask me, where do you get this money to do all this stuff? It sounds very expensive. My taxes. Okay? I use my taxes. I think in a video maybe I'll do a little bit more in depth as far as like financials and stuff like that. But my taxes, I use my taxes. Luckily, thank God, the money that I put in is the money that I got out of it, excluding, I think, incorporation. So incorporation is basically creating the actual business entity to be a legal, recognized by the state of Florida. That was about $160. Then there is you have to then create a business bank account. You need a $500 minimum in that account not at all times, but initially to start the account. So that's $500 there. This is not I'm not making anything at this point. Then you have to go to get an actual operational website. That I think I paid maybe between $8 and $12. Then you have to purchase Stripe. There's a lot of what we call startup costs, meaning one-off costs, you just have to buy it once and that's it. There's a lot of startup costs associated with that. Now, it wasn't until I was able to, when I first started doing the flowers, I charged $11 for them, for an arrangement, because I was competing with Publix, Winn-Dixie at the time. It's now called something EMOS or something like that. I can't remember. Fresco EMOS. Basically saying, if you can either go to Publix or these places, get a bouquet of arrangements and just throw them in any old vase, and that's who I was competing with. Although my flowers are much fresher, you had a lot more variety and quality, and it was delivered, so there's less gas, the time, you have to think about it. So it was a very low price point. Then I upped it to $23, $24 plus delivery. So then it started to be in the more range of pro flowers and stuff like that. So initially, it didn't cost me much to make these things. It really didn't. But the time associated, we weren't incorporating my time. We were just talking about, it cost me $5, I'm going to charge $10, and I'm going to make a profit of $5. That's what the basic math. Then I started incorporating time, effort, everything. So it evolved over time, like I said, but it wasn't pretty. And like I said, I used my taxes, and I I wouldn't say I didn't deplete them, but I definitely used my taxes to make everything happen. And luckily, I still had a full-time job. A lot of people don't. I had a full-time job. I still was going to school full-time. You know, I had a lot of other things as far as time management going on, but I had a great run. And it's more of a nostalgic passion thing for me. It's not something that I would say I'm looking to this where I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life. If this will be anything. This is not one of those jobs. This is not going to be one of those companies where I know once I do this, that's it. I'm not going to have to think about anything ever again. That it's not really what it is. It's a nostalgia thing for me. It's something that connects me with my roots, with my mom, my childhood, things like that. That's what it is. So I think that's another thing as far as understanding. People think, you know, you start a business and you're just going to get rich and you're never going to have to worry a day in your life and it's going to be amazing. And like, duh, why isn't everybody doing this? Most millionaires have like 5 streams of revenue, so they have like 5 jobs at least. So that would just be 1 and 2. And that one is not something that I never was able to pull a salary. I was never able to pull anything. But I would say I was profitable. Now, most businesses are not profitable within the first 5 years, meaning they are earning revenue, but they are not profitable, meaning they are earning money to cover the cost, which then goes back into the company to generate more products, more, you know, hire more staff, things like that. But they're not drawing a profit. They're not drawing money that essentially they can, you know, pay for other people like themselves, like employees themselves or CEOs or whatever, themselves. So you got to be mindful of those things too. Like when you're going into something, if you're starting a company, whatever it may be, you have to understand or have an idea of the scope that you want it to be. For instance, I heard an entrepreneur say, if you start running a company or whatever company it may be, you want to run it like the company you want to be. Don't run it like the company that it is. Run it bigger and better, which may be true. But I also feel like you should have an understanding of, hey, this company, ultimately, I don't see it or I don't want to scale it, meaning like I don't want it to be so large where it's you know, like I don't know what's I guess like a Burger King or McDonald's. I want to keep it more like a mom and pop, or I want to keep it more like a regional kind of thing. So understanding, where do you see this going? Where do you want it to go? You know, where do you see your involvement in it? So there's so many like avenues when it comes to running a company, owning a company, developing a company, sustaining a company, fitting it into your life. And a lot of reasons, the reason why it fails, because it lacks consistency, it lacks direction, it lacks people who are influential, who can really, really put the company where it needs to be and take it. A company is a business. At the end of the day, the people who are most successful with companies are business-minded people. They don't look at it as a passion project. They don't look at it as an opportunity to get notoriety or to become a celebrity or anything like that. They look at it strictly numbers. What do I need to do to make the most money with the least effort or the least money going into it? So you got to be mindful. You got to have that mindset of what your actually target is. You can have another company that is all about, we're saving people all over the world, but then you have this one company that is like, you know what? We're here to make money, and that's it. And that's why those corporations make those money. But unfortunately, you're going to miss out, or you're going to do lower quality things. You're going to do things that you may not be necessarily proud of, things of that nature, but it's for the money. It's for the money. So get your feelings out of it, get your heart out of it, because it's for the money. So I mean, I just wanted to really just kind of say, like, listen, you can do whatever you want to do. Just know what you're getting yourself into and understand. It's almost like starting a company is almost like renovating a 100-year-old home. It has a lot of great perks about it. It has a great location, a lot of history, you know, great potential. And then you rip up the floor joists and you realize that there ain't shit underneath here. And we have to rip it all up, start it from scratch, get it up to code. It's really like one of those things. And then guess what? After that's all done, after you are broke, you get to enjoy this wonderful, wonderful fruit of your labor. it doesn't sound super fun, but it's yours. It's all yours. Nobody else's. So I think it's really, really, really important that people, like I said, understand that a business is not a play toy. A business is not, something you just say, hey, I'm bored, I'm going to start a business. No, a business is a strategic, hardworking, beneficial, and shape-shifting, way to basically expand your independence, your skill set. There's a lot of great perks of being an entrepreneur, a lot of great perks of being a CEO or working with a startup, but unfortunately it's not recognized in the corporate world, where you are an employee, you are an assistant, you are a servant. Essentially, you are in many ways, shapes, or form to be there to provide assistance or work together with other people. Not to say there's anything wrong with working corporate, because technically I do that right now. That's how it pays the bills, and there's good things with it, and there's bad things with it, and there's things that are fun about it, and there are things that I'm so glad I can't, I'm not doing anymore. But I think it's important to understand there are many, 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 many levels of entrepreneurship. There are many, many, many levels of corporate worlds, but there's a lot of wealth and knowledge and understanding that you get being in the entrepreneurial world, that I think is very beneficial to the corporate world. Very, very beneficial. I think that it's underestimated how much insight and the wealth of knowledge an entrepreneur can bring. But then also, as an entrepreneur, you got to understand too, in the corporate world, those who may be interested in being in the corporate world, how much you may be considered a threat, because you think of things that maybe corporate is overlooking because they just want to make the money. They don't care how it gets done or who the supplier is or what we have to do or how much we have to pay. So you become a threat because they look at you as a person who's trying to create change to something that we just want you to facilitate. We don't want you to change anything. We just want to make sure that you just allow this to continue to happen because it makes sense for us. So it's really, really hard, to pick a side and also to switch sides, and sustain those sides and stuff like that. So I encourage, any entrepreneur or anybody in the corporate world to really think hard about understanding there is going to be a lot of learned lessons in working each industry, and I've worked in both, so I understand, both sides of the situation. If you want sustainability, you're probably going to be in the corporate world. If you want to be that person who has a steady income, who is faced with different challenges, but is known that they're going to make their ends meet, you get your stuff in that corporate job and you make those things happen, you make those sacrifices happen, and you enjoy that lifestyle. Or if you decide to be someone who is not sure where your next paycheck's going to come from, but the things that you love are something that you wake up and breathe and eat and sleep every day, you're probably an entrepreneur. You're probably somebody who wants to do that. But you can also be both. I'm both. I like my stability, but I also like to give a little bit of myself out to the community and to the world and create an impact. So you got to kind of play with it. But I want more people to understand money don't grow on trees. The money that it took for me I pretty much depleted my savings, because that's where my savings comes from, to start this business, and it was a labor of love from start to finish. But it wasn't easy, it wasn't cheap, it wasn't overnight, it wasn't something that I would recommend everybody do. But I think I'm going to give it another whirl with all this knowledge that I have. And I closed down the business because it was so draining. I tried to acquire more people to be on my team to work with me, but nobody was interested, and I'm not willing to just pick anybody, because it's a part of my representation of myself, of my company, of how hard I've worked and things like that. I wasn't willing to just have regular old Joe submit his resume and me just work for me. No, I wanted people who understood me, my culture, my vision, was able to replicate that and sustain that. And I didn't feel like I had to be behind them and micromanage and stuff like that, and could take it and kind of help expand on that. So with that being said, and also the money that it took to go into this, yes, I was not making a profit, but I was essentially just you know, getting revenue and stuff like that, which was great. But it wasn't enough for me to expand or to sustain the business. So that was another huge reason. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna give it another whirl. We're gonna see how this goes, and you guys will be one of the first to kind of hear what's going on, and we'll see what happened. What was that, Sam? I'm just whipping and raving like I'm not talking to y'all. Anywho, done with this rant, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Adios.